Hello everyone, Juxtaposition here. Today's video will be entitled A World of Radiation. Let me repeat, A World of Radiation. Basically, it's a giant ranching, farming, human eugenics program. It's Dr. Evil attempting to rule the world, right? Rule the world out of Geneva, Switzerland. Geneva Global Governance, GGG. You should know these terms. You should know these terms if you are a paid member of my channel, which everyone should be a paid member, right? We're talking about world domination, one world order. We are one, as Pope Leo likes to joke about. You get yourself one of these handsome mugs, these coffee mugs, and if you don't like coffee, you can pour vodka or Scotch whiskey into this baby. And as Timothy Leary of West Point Academy would say, tune in, turn on, and drop out. On the Juxtaposition 1 channel. Yes, you can. All right. So, of course, in order to follow my lunacy, you'll need to get a lunacy of lexicon of terms, right? So you need to understand what gene splicing or gene slicing, slice and dice. You need to know what human augmentation is all about, modifying your molecular cellular structure. You need to know what molecular communications is. It's more than just how your mobile phone works. It's molecular engineering, right, of all living creatures, from bunny rabbits to kitty cats to squirrels to the clueless, profane sheep that wander the earth, awaiting the Tour de France and the World Cup soccer FIFA finals. The FIFA finals. You do know that all the soccer players are fully augmented, right? They're all on drugs. They use blood doping and steroids and amphetamines. Oh, yes, they do. That is Chris Everett and Martina Navratilova, Bjorn Borg, and Johnny McEnroe, and Jim McConnors. They were all on drugs too. I assume they still are on drugs today. All right. So what I want you to know is that the world of radiation today is being pursued subject to NATO's weaponized program. It's called net-centric cognitive neuroscience electronic warfare. It's designed to pacify and control the prisoner planet, the Hunger Game districts of clueless detentionees. Thems that pick cotton are soon forgotten in the Hunger Game of Switzerland. Net-centric cognitive neuroscience electronic warfare. That is the NATO war doctrine. In case you didn't know, look it up. That's right. While you're busy attending the symphony or the opera, the busy beavers at our universities, this is how Geneva works. They infiltrate all our churches, all our organized religions, all our banking facilities, and all of our education facilities of higher learning, institutions of higher learning, are fully controlled by Switzerland. And it would begin with Harvard University and extend out to UC Berkeley, the first college of California. College of California is what UC Berkeley was called before it was expanded up and down the state with 9 different campuses. And later we had Leland, Stanford, and we created Stanford University, booted the Ohlone Indians off of the hillside there of Atherton, Palo Alto, Menlo Park area. And we built out a huge military complex called Moffett Air Base and built a linear accelerator on Sand Hill Road. And we also developed an enclave of dead end cul de sacs inside of Atherton and Hillsborough. And we installed bankers and corporate lawyers in there to rule the world on behalf of Geneva global governance. That's right. California is best referred to as New Helvetia. New Helvetia. Who discovered gold in California? Switzerland did, right? Johann Sutter. Johann Sutter, known as Captain John Sutter. Captain. He was not in the military. He was a banker from Basel, Switzerland. John Sutter was from Basel, Switzerland, and was on his 49,000 acres of land in Sacramento area, 49,000 is a 13, right? Unity amongst Masons, 13. 4 plus 9 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, 49,000. Adds up to 13. 4 plus 9 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 13. It's like the residential addresses for William Colby, head of the CIA, head of Operation Phoenix and CORD's program in Vietnam. Number 13, right? Number 13, unity amongst Masons. You're going to see that coming up continuously throughout virtually all my videos. You'll see the number 33, which is the highest level of the obelisk pyramid. The chain of command, the highest level, the level of a five-star general is 33. 33. 33 means obedience. Means obedience and Omertec code of silence. It's 33. 13 is that we all agree with the world mission. Even if it's felonious and criminal and unethical, we still believe in the world mission. And that's today's video. A world of radiation is about the subjugation of man, the converting of humans into a post-human paradigm, post-human paradigm domain, full spectrum dominance of robots and cyborgs. Because if you become human augmented using aluminum chalk and polymers and titanium and lithium and magnesium arsenic poisoning, I would suggest to you that you are no longer a human being. You've crossed over into the twilight zone of zombie apocalypse. You are in the post-humanity. Remember the infinity sign? Turned sideways, a figure eight turned on its side. That's the infinity sign. That is the sign and symbol for transhumanism, also known as infinity, also known as boundless, limitless, meaning we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen because man has tampered with all aspects of our natural environment. Getting back to my lunacy of lexicon of terms, you must know neuromodulation. You must understand human augmentation goes beyond Botox and cosmetic surgery, nose jobs. You could ask Peter Grossman for some advice if you want. It goes back to liposuction. It goes to installing a artificial pelvis or hip. It goes to installing steel parts into your body, like I have. Yours truly has 21 metal parts installed in my elbow and shoulder. Yes, I did. Humpty Dumpty had to be put back together when Humpty Dumpty had a very severe automobile accident, which involved flipping the car, somersaulting, airbag deployment, and people wondering why I was still out of pulse. But yet, here I am with my Lexicon of Lunacy podcast known as the Juxtaposition One Show. It really takes an incredible amount of energy to put me down. All right, so we have 5G technology, 6G terahertz, and we have 7G equipment. 7G equipment is known as the ring cameras, it is known as the smart meters, and it is known as the LED streetlights and headlights of cars and motorcycles. Not to mention LED cans in your ceiling or lamps or appliances within your home. It also extends to your wireless router, where you may be communicating with me over the internet. The wireless router is 7G technology, as is a smart TV, smart refrigerator, and any wearables. If you have a Garmin device or a heart rate monitor, insulin pump, or you're wearing a Fitbit or smart glasses, you have joined the world of 7G transponding equipment. But don't fret. Let's just say that you've elected to reject, to rebuke the world of electronics. Let's say you rebuked the world of consumer electronics, which are all weapon systems, and the electronics industry is a weapon military complex. It's not built for consumers, it's built for soldiers to kill other people. That's the point of the electronics industry. Yes, they have a consumer division. Apple Computer sells music. And devices that people enjoy. It's a military weapons foundry, right? People attend University of California, Berkeley, thinking it's a lovely campus, and it is, but it's a military foundry where they build weapons at UC Berkeley, and they do that at Stanford too. Stanford has a Stanford Research Institute International over there on Middleton Road, across the street from Summit Partners, which will launder your money for you, and that's over there by where Stanley Wojcinski rented his garage to Sergey Brin and Larry Page to create Google, the artificial intelligence gathering search mechanism, Google, and his daughter Anne married Sergey Brin before she divorced him. You got to marry somebody before you can divorce them. Anyway, that was over there on Marguerite Avenue. It's right across the street from Stanford Research Institute International, which is a weapons foundry, which is home to the RAND Corporation and their cover group. The cover for Stanford is the Hoover Institute, and that was led by Henry Kissinger. That was led by George Shultz, president of the Bechtel Corporation, family construction company for military. That was led by people like, trying to think of the luminaries. Uh, they usually get some kind of Prize. Um, Economists. Today we have Victor Davis Hanson, who's a complete charlatan. Charlatan. He's a raisin farmer, Highway 99, in Selma, Fresno County. Fresno County. You know, it's home to Anne Heche's Breakup Bender Weekend. When you think of Anne Heche having a spaceship and taking us all up to see God, think of Victor Davis Hanson. He has a raisin farm in close proximity where Anne Heche took off all her clothes and told a local rancher that she wanted to take him to see God in her spaceship, allegedly. Allegedly, she was drunk. Allegedly, she was on ecstasy. There's not a scintilla or proof of any of those things. There's no proof that Dr. Victor Davis Hanson is an intelligent person either. You know, there's absolutely no proof whatsoever. He does have a PhD from Stanford, and he has some other graduate degrees from UC Santa Cruz. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, Angela Davis was a professor at UC Santa Cruz. Do you want to take medical and historical advice from Angela Davis? Well, that's Angela Davis is Victor Davis Hanson with a bald head. It's the same person. Angela Davis and Victor Davis Hanson, it's the same person. It's like Bill O'Reilly and Rachel Madcow. It's the same person. Same person with different wardrobe. All right? Noam Chomsky and Woody Allen and Jeffrey Epstein. It's the same person. It's not a scintilla's worth of difference. Oliver Silverstein and Sean Stone. It's the same person. Your name is Silverstein. All right. So getting back to Real ID Verified, that's a military security clearance code. You know that by subscribing to my channel. Innovative genomics, you need to understand about modifying, aka injuring your cellular molecular structure, aka your genes, your DNA, your essence. Your essence is your DNA. We have weapons companies who are learning how to attack your DNA. CRISPR Therapeutics, Caribou Biosciences, Smart Dust Networks, which has been renamed Analog Devices. Analog Devices is in the human augmentation business. In case you didn't know, virtually every pharmaceutical company is in the human augmentation business. You see it through doped sports like FIFA soccer or Tour de France or World Cup cycling. Those are all augmented people using Amgen Corporation, using Northfield Labs in Illinois to create polyheme. Companies like BioPure in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which has been um, consolidated into a bigger company now. They use synthetic blood, fake blood, cow blood, bovine-based hemoglobins. When you put cow blood into your body, I can assure you, you are augmenting yourself, right? Then we have testosterone replacement therapy, or what they call replacement. It's not replacement, it's adding. They're not subtracting, they're adding. And you can do this using female fertility hormones like Bruce Jenner uses, or you can use female fertility hormones like pretty much every NFL football player uses. They use so much testosterone, which is male hormones, that they have to juice it with female hormones called the process of luteinization. So that's another word that everybody on my channel needs to understand. Luteinization. It's part of the world of radiation, right? And the more of these foreign, synthetic, fake hormones that go into your body, along with the smart dust, which are called mesogyms or MIMS, which is micro electronic mechanical systems or sensors to send and receive in the environment, in the air, soil, and leaves of trees, or when it penetrates your skin, or you breathe it through your nose into your lungs, then the sensors become biosensors, right? Anyway, we naturally the world has the sun and the world has dirt and breathable airspace and water, lakes, rivers, and streams, oceans, and estuaries. That's the normal state of affairs. But because our our Geneva global governance wants to dominate the world, because of course they've been obsessed since the Crusades with this whole concept of colonialism, right, which is known as imperialism, which is also known as fascism. This is the way of the world. That's our entire anthropology of our world is based on one prison planet known as a plantation or a ranch. They subdivide it and map it and call it strategic hamlets, Hunger Games, because it's too hard to manage a whole world by yourself alone. So what you do is you have a governor in charge of each hamlet. You can call them a mayor or a prefect. Prefect, mayor, governor. It's a provisional pseudo leader puppet. It's a puppet for Geneva global governance. All right. And this is how we roll. This is the world of banking. This is how it works. And I've written down kind of a flow chart of what I'm talking about here. And it's funny, it just doesn't show up. All right. Essentially, what we have is a situation where everything has been weaponized now. Language through applied linguistics, um, the media, Mockingbird media, is fully infiltrated. You're just better off not reading newspapers, stop listening to the radio, stop listening to television, and stop listening to most podcasts. You can delete me if you want to, but certainly don't be listening to Tucker Carlson or Glenn Greenwald or Anderson Cooper or Alex Jones or Joe Rogan. Be better off drinking vodka and smoking weed. You'd be more enlightened if you were stoned. All right. Microbiology, nanotechnology, electrical engineering, molecular communications, followed by molecular engineering of humans, neuromodulations, trace, track, and target, uh, Raytheon missile guidance systems, Lockheed linear delivery, direct energy weapons. Direct means to aim. Direct energy weapons, quiet weapons for a silent war. Quiet weapons for a silent war, DEW, direct energy weaponry. Well, this is best expressed today with CRISPR Therapeutics and Jennifer Doudna, who was given a Nobel Prize in 2020 for her work with Cas9, which is gene splicing, aka trying to call it precision medicine. Like she can cut up your DNA with a pair of scissors very precisely, right? Before Jennifer Doudna, we had Ernest Lawrence, and he brought us the cyclotron machine. This is like the cyclotron machine. It can excite particles and help with the development of explosive devices to kill almost everybody in your township using a blunt force object, right? I mean, this is a form of precision medicine Couldn't this be called? This is imprecise medicine. Because, for example, if you broke your toe and it was killing you with pain, you just, Three Stooges taught you take a hammer and conk your head. Then you go, oh, my head hurts, my head hurts. Yeah, but now you're not complaining about your toe, right? So this cures toe aches. It can install a headache, or you can use this end, the business end, and you can have yourself a real Columbo episode, right? If you use this end, that's going to put it be lights out. Anyway, that's an example of a blunt force instrument. This example of CRISPR therapeutics, right? That's a precise stiletto dagger. It's very precise, right? This is another example. This is another example right here. That's a stiletto dagger, right? And then this is the type that was used by our friend O.J. Simpson back in June 1994. He used this stiletto dagger, 7-inch blade. All right. This is a serious weapon for precise purposes, like slitting tires or poking holes in rubber tires of cars, which I believe was the main purpose for O.J. Simpson at night, was not to kill or harm, but to puncture the tires of the Jeep Cherokee from Nicole Brown. That's what I believe. But all we've done, people, is taken weapon systems and retitle them as precision. So in the case of CRISPR Therapeutics, Cas9, which is an enzyme of direct energy weaponry using the CRISPR um, concealment, and CRISPR just means pause. It is a terminology having to do with this concept of continuous pulsing. It's the continuous pulsing of energy waves. It's having to do with net-centric cognitive neuroscience electronic warfare. It's um, it's part of a radiation system. We have visible and invisible energy systems. We have visible light, which is on the spectrum of light energy. And then we have mostly invisible light. X-rays are invisible, gamma rays are invisible. They lead to mutating your DNA, sterilizing you, sterilizing food, sterilizing humans, sterilizing um, petri dishes, sterilizing pharmaceutical drug products, sterilizing medical equipment under the guise of protecting the public from cooties, right? Moon cooties, invisible, infrared, ultraviolet, microwaves, submillimeter waves, Cas9, those are invisible energy systems. They can be delivered two ways with long, low energy waves or with submillimeter high intensity multiple repeats, which is what CRISPR stands for. Everybody knows what CRISPR means. Let me read to you from the actual definition of CRISPR because I know it's tricky. CRISPR is clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats. Clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats. It's a family of DNA sequences found in the genome of prokaryotic organisms found in bacteria or archaea. All right, so Cas9 is an enzyme that uses the CRISPR sequences of pulsing, phased array vector evaluation, as a guide to recognize opening up specific strands of DNA. And when I'm on the subject of strands, military has an acronym called DSB, which stands for double strand breaks. This is gene splicing. This is what Jennifer Doudna's second husband is involved with. The Innovative Genomic Institute, which is located at 2151 Berkeley Way on the UC Berkeley campus. Jennifer Doudna has a lab in that building as well, the Doudna Lab. where she handles Cas9 neuromodulation weaponry. And so does her husband, Jamie Cate, Cate, Jamie Cate. And they work at 2151 Berkeley Way, one block off Phoebe Hearst Avenue, near the Chancellor's mansion, estate, chateau. They're just a block away. You certainly wouldn't drive. You just walk right over there. For any cocktail parties for Nobel laureates. You know that Jennifer Doudna has been given a special title. She's the Chancellor of Biomedicine at Berkeley, having never seen a patient, no medical degrees. She's nevertheless considered a doctorate of Frankenstein monstering, which is what being a chancellor of biosciences is. The combining of electrical engineering with microbiology gives rise to a new form of weaponry. And that weaponry is considered to be precision medicine. But, so is this. This is precision medicine. You can perform surgery with a 7-inch stiletto dagger. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can use it to harm or kill or pacify and control. Harm or kill, pacify and control. The three applications of spending trillions of dollars to create a world full of weapons is obviously military first, but military has to be funded by a bank. The bank's interested in command and control, merchant exchange, and exploitation of the planet under colonialism and exploiting people on the plantation to get the cotton, to get the gold, to get the silver, to get the grain, to get the opium, to process it into morphine or heroin products. That is the purpose of the controllers in Geneva, Switzerland. And to deploy that, you create an economic incentivized system of corporations, the College of Corporations. There are no nations, there are no peoples, there are no political parties, there are no organized religions. There's only the illusion of that. There are no real meaningful flags. The flags are really the white flag of surrender. That's the only flag that exists. And the other one is the Red Cross, right? Which is the Swiss abuse of the crucifix. That is the Red Cross flew on the Spanish conquistador ships, as well as Sir Francis Drake pirate ships flew the Swiss Red Cross on their mainsails. It's a little clue to know that England, the United Kingdom, and Spain are ruled by Switzerland, just like America is. As we come up to our 250th year anniversary of our Hunger Games. All right, so I understand you're not going to learn everything in one video, but you see that gene splicing is a fancy word for double strand breaks. It means damaging and injuring your DNA. This is what gives rise to cancer. Cancer is your cells are injured and dying. Your cells are injured and dying. And the three applications for companies like CRISPR and Raytheon Missile Guidance is military use, and the other is medical diagnostic and treatment use, like X-ray machines, ultrasonic machines, MRI, magnetic resonance imagery machines, um, radiation treatment machines. These are dangerous weapons. They're militarized, but they've been converted into the use of treatment of sick patients. And we call that now precision medicine. But for the most part, medicine has always used blunt force trauma weaponry. And we are trying to move to more precision. Gene editing Nobel laureate Jennifer Doudna, precision medicine. But don't kid yourself. A stiletto dagger can harm and injure and kill you. More likely can do that than it can heal you from cancer. The amount of radiation that we're subjected to today is causing cancer at an alarming rate. It's also, of course, promoting senile dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms. And you couldn't have COVID, you could not have coronavirus without this radiation world. The world of radiation is a world of COVID. Because COVID is the Havana syndrome. COVID is acute radiation poisoning, manifested in the symptoms of nausea, headaches, ringing in your ears, right? Fatigue. Well, that's the symptoms of radiation poisoning. That's the symptoms of Havana syndrome. Just because they rebranded it as COVID doesn't mean that there's a deadly virus that escaped a Wuhan lab into a food market in China that is threatening you and your strategic hamlet. That is a load of BS. All right. So the enemy is Caribou Biosciences. The enemy is CRISPR Therapeutics. The enemy is analog devices in the form of DES networks. The enemies are people like Rachel Horowitz, uh, Jennifer Doudna, Jamie Kate, Joy Weiss, Christopher Pitzer, Larry Ratfink of BlackRock, Stephen Schwartzman of Blackstone, and the World Economic Forum, and the United Nations, and CERN. Let's discuss CERN for a moment, shall we? European Organization for Nuclear Research, also known as CERN. It is an intergovernmental organization. Translation, the Switzerland owns and controls it. It's headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. They have a 27-kilometer circular loop linear accelerator. 27 is 999. It's a 17-mile donut. They call it a circular tunnel. It's also known as a large hadron collider. They collide and excite materials in the circular racetrack. Okay, they're planning an FCC. That stands for Future Circular Collider in Geneva. This excites particles. It separates the ions and performs ionized radiation. Ionized radiation is the blunt treatment of damaging cellular molecular structure using a hammer. But Jennifer Doudna, she does the same thing, only they call it precision medicine because they're so careful. I'm here to tell you that there isn't a millimeter's worth of difference or a sub-millimeter's worth of difference between Caribou Biosciences, Innovative Genomic Institute, Doudna Lab, Nobel Prize for Chancellor of Biosciences. There's not a sub-millimeter difference between CRISPR Therapeutics, Cas9, and hitting somebody upside the head with a blunt force hammer or a tire iron. It's the same thing. One is done in an invisible energy system using photonics, which is light, using ultrasonic, which is sound, using magnetic resonance, which is electronic magnetic fields, and deploying sensors such as smart dust and 7G equipment, which is smart dust, and smart meters, ring cameras, LED streetlights, LED lights, wireless routers, smart televisions, smart refrigerators. Those are all 7G equipment. So replacing 5G towers. Yeah, 5G towers are part of the program. It's part of the architect. Pope Leo, he wants to disable the artificial intelligence, but he's clueless. You can't disable the AI unless you disable the railroad infrastructure on which AI runs. AI is just coding and programming of algorithms on an already built system. You can't have a database center unless you've already first built out an energy delivery center, which water isn't a part of. We don't need any water to create a data center. You do need energy, though. You need solar power energy, wind energy, or electronic energy delivered in the form of a cabling or wiring system. You must have some form of harnessing energy to have a database. But you know what? They're doing the same thing with ray guns, gamma rays, and nanotechnology weapon systems, whether it's X-ray machines or MRI machines or gamma ray, it's ionizing radiation toxicity, which explains how Betsy Arakawa died, and Aaron Valente and Gene Hackman. Maybe they died from Havana syndrome, right? They may have died of Havana syndrome when there's no obvious cause of death. You may have what we call a Havana syndrome fatality. We have a ranching farming operation. All right. Caribou Biosciences is located at 2929 7th Street in Berkeley. That's an 1111, which is the highest level of the Scottish Rites Knights Templar. In San Francisco, the Masonic Scottish Rites Temple is at 1111 California Street. That's the Masonic Scottish Rites Temple on Nob Hill. Well, Caribou Biosciences, where Rachel Horowitz works, that is same address, right? She's in Suite 105. That's like Janis Joplin. She was in room 105 at the Highlands Motel there in West Hollywood on Franklin Avenue. 105 is adds up to six. Six is 33, highest level of obedience. So does Caribou Life Biosciences. They're in Suite 106, just like Janis Joplin. They're number 33. Number 33 at an 1111 address. Jennifer Doudna is at 2151 Berkeley Way. All right. That adds up to number nine, just like the Pelosi family, number nine, or they're number 11. This is like Ben Bugsy Siegel. He was killed at a number nine address, 810 Linden Drive in Beverly Hills. All right. You should know that in Berkeley, number one and number two Cyclotron Road, which is Phoebe Hearst Avenue, renamed once it goes past the stadium, football stadium, where we have steroid football at Berkeley. Right above that, the road name changes. It splits to Strawberry Canyon and Centennial Drive um, to Cyclotron Road, which was made famous by Ernest Lawrence building a cyclotron machine in 1929, 1930, 1931, the Berkeley campus. And there is Site 100 of the Department of Energy Weapons Facility in Berkeley. It's all fenced off with barbed wire and cyclone fencing with security guards. Every single building on that hillside in Strawberry Canyon below Grizzly Peak Boulevard, but above Memorial Stadium in Strawberry Canyon, um, every building in there should be demolished. Every single building needs to be demolished. It's part of a fascism, colonialism, imperialism, um, anthropology program of merchant exchange banking and world trade under centralized authority of Swiss Bank Authority in Switzerland. It's 100% a militarized foundry for CRISPR therapeutics and linear accelerator photonic weapons. That is the situation that we find ourselves in today. It's gene editing, gene splicing, gene slicing. It's the idea that a stiletto dagger is precision medicine just because you give an award to Jennifer Doudna does not make a blunt force instrument like a hammer a cancer curing stiletto. You don't cure cancer with a stiletto dagger, and you certainly don't call Jennifer Doudna if you want to get better. That's my video for today. Do like and share. I am heavily shadow banned for obvious reasons. Um, we're at war, except it's not much of a war. We're locked into a secured hamlet grid. We have travel restrictions. We are surveilled 24/7 with flock cameras, biometrics, facial recognition, eyeball recognition, iris recognition, palm print, fingerprint. We are tethered to the cloud 24/7. Whether you're vaccinated or not, you are throwing out a wireless body area network signal. If you have a pulse and your brain is working, then they have you on a radar screen. And there's a keyboard commando somewhere monitoring your activities. That you're in a prison. Okay, just because you don't think I'm right doesn't make you right. Until you've done the research like I have, you have no right to criticize me. I was personal friends for over 30 years with Dr. Dave Gregg, who will blow your mind with what I learned, in his pinky finger enlightened me to be able to do the channel that I have today. Over 3,000 videos created. Take care. And like I said, get yourself a juxtaposition coffee mug and an adult beverage and get busy. Take care. Bye bye.